All right, so what we're going to go over here is Digital Illustration 1 and the assignment that kind of goes along with it. Basically, you've got these 4 pieces that you've got to sort of create. We're going to start off in Illustrator, and I'm just going to make an 1117 document. Remember that you can hit Command R, and that'll show you rulers, and you can change your ruler settings by right-clicking, and you can have them pixels and points, whatever you want. I prefer inches. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call this one my drawing layer, and this one my original layer, and that's going to allow me to put my drawings on my originals. All right, so I'm going to click on my original layer, and I want to drag and drop this box in. I'm going to keep it right here and scale it down. All right, and what I'm looking to do here is, and actually, let me backtrack. I want to change my artboard size. I actually just want it to be 8.5 by 11. We'll do 11 by 8.5. Okay, because we're going to do multiple artboards. So 11 by 8.5. We'll make that easy. So now I've got this here. It's in my original layer, and I'm going to lock it. Now to draw these, all right, the first thing I want to do is I want to get my colors. So I'm going to go to my swatches, and here they are. So here's my swatches. And I tend to empty these all out because there's so many of them. So I'm going to click on the CMYK red. I leave black in. Hold the Shift key, click the last color, and delete. That will give you all of those to kind of get rid of them. All right, and then I'll show you why. So right now I'm going to take my color picker and I'm going to click on this blue, and I'm going to click and hold for just a second, and I'm going to drag, and I get the blue, and I want this gray. Again, I'm dragging, and I want the darker gray, and I'm dragging. Pink, green, and orange. All right, and again, if you just hold for a second, click and hold, you can drag. If it doesn't, go back and do it. I'm going to take these 4 and I'm going to select them. Again, click the first one, hold the Shift key, click the last one, and I'm going to click the folder, and that's going to make a folder, and I'm just going to call this bottles. And that's where I have all the colors there, because I'm going to have the colors for each group, okay? And so it's just nice to have organization here, all right? That's really what you're looking for. So I've got this now, I've got my colors. So the first thing I want to do, and this is for every shape, okay? You can use the pen tool, right? Or you can use the shape tools, all right? So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this first model. And actually what I will do is take my shape tool, and I need to make sure I'm on the right layer, all right? And I'm going to draw the box to fill this, okay? And I'm not worried about the color right now because it doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to grab the end. You see how I can touch the ends of these? Now you notice they all change. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to click on one, and you'll see how it sort of gets a little outline. I'm going to hold the Shift key and click on the other. That means I only want to curve these 2. So I run the curve. Now it needs to get longer, so I'm going to pull this down, all right? And I'm going to match this about as close as I can. So I've got one. Now with this particular one, all right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to switch it. I want a stroke, all right? And my stroke settings are under my properties. Let me get my swatches tucked in here, all right? So under my properties, I have a stroke setting, and I want to bring this up. It's hard to see because it's on the gray. About as thick as that is. I feel like that's pretty good. So a 5-point stroke. My stroke color, I'm going to click on it, and I want it to be this particular color here. So I'm going to go through, and my stroke color, come back to me here. Just clicking on my stroke color. Here's my stroke. I want it to be the darker gray, okay? And then I want it to be that 5-point. And my fill, I want it to have as none. So no fill. I don't understand why that just did that. All right, I can also change my color over here. All right, I'm going to none it from here. This panel seems to be giving me a little issue. So here it is, okay? I've got this. Now you'll notice it got a little funky, so I want to make sure my stroke, if I click on it, I can align it to the outside, I can align it to the inside, and I can align it to the middle. I'm going to go inside. That gives me my shape to be exact. Okay, so there's your alignment inside a stroke. Click on the word stroke, and you can actually change the weight as well as the cap and the alignment. And again, outside you can see how it changes inside, and it would make sense that it would be on the inside of my piece because that's the shape. You'll notice the red is actually along the outside of the shape, which is where I drew it, okay? So my first one is that. I'm simply going to copy and paste that one. I'm going to swap it. I don't want a stroke. I only want a fill. And so with my fill color, again, I'm going to go to my swatches, and I want the fill color to be the lighter one, okay? Now I can take this. You'll notice it's on top. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to say arrange and send to back. And then I'm going to snap them together like that using my smart guide. So I have that. Follow along so far? Okay. Now I need the blue. And so I'm going to take the blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one I just made, and I'm going to copy and paste again. And this I'm going to fill with blue. Now, I need this cut here. This is really simple. I'm going to highlight this blue box, okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and underneath the eraser, right, I'm going to need my advanced tools to be set up here. You click on this 3 dot, click on this dot, and go advanced, you'll get all your tools. Underneath the eraser, I'm going to take the knife. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to basically slice here, here. The big important part is, if you notice, I started before and I ended outside of, and that's what you want. Now, when I do that, if I click off of this, I have 2 pieces, and I can delete that. Now with this, I'm going to drag it in here, and you'll notice again, I need to take the outer frame, arrange, bring to front. So now I've created that bottle, okay? Then I would go ahead and take 2 circles here, another circle here, and that would drop it in. So that's simply taking my ellipse tool and making a circle, right? Dropping it on top, and the same thing here. If I hold the Option key, I can drag it, right? And if my circles aren't quite big enough, I can make them a little bigger, but that's fine. And these are circles, okay? Now down here, you're gonna use the pen tool to create this, right? And this can be pretty simple. I'm gonna take my pen tool, and I'm gonna click, click, click to get my arc, okay? I'm gonna come back, and you'll notice it's not the right color I want. I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna pull this way up and get as close as I can to kind of matching that up. Now I'm gonna turn it into a fill, all right? We'll see how I did. It's okay if this little piece isn't perfect. Now you'll notice, all right, if I go here, this I want it to be white, okay? And really all I need to do with this, all right, is I'm gonna take this down in its opacity. So I go to my properties panel, and I'm just gonna drop the opacity down a little bit. Now, if you just look at mine, it's sort of like jagged. I can grab my direct selection tool, and I can actually round off that point. Okay, let me show you how I did that again. Direct selection tool, click the point. You'll see a little circle next to it. If I click and hold that, I can drag it. If yours feels fine, that's fine. There's numerous ways to create this. We'll just show you the simplest way for now. Okay, and again, now these are just white circles. Okay, so that's how you would go about doing this first one. All right, it's pretty basic. All right, using these, it's the same thing. So you have shape tools. So I'm going to take this shape. I'm just showing you this really quickly. Right now we'll go here, and again, I have all the colors. So I'm going to go to my swatch panel, and real quick, I'm just going to fill this up with a color. I can see it. All right, now I've got that. Now down here, I need a shape as well. So I'm probably going to go ahead and just pull out a rounded rectangle and kind of drop it in like that. All right, if it's a tad off, I'm fine. All right. Now this, I'm going to use a regular rectangle, right? Take this, and again, trace it out, end to end, try to go to the outside. I have 3 pieces. That doesn't help me, right? If I take these 3 and I make them outlines, well, that doesn't really help me. So what I'm going to do with them is when they're shapes, I'm going to use my Pathfinder, right down here, or if you want it, Window, Pathfinder is right here, okay? And I'm just going to click on this little click to unite, boom. Now I have my bottle shape. Okay, and you do the exact same process. You fill out the stroke, you make one for the front, one for the, you make one that goes to the color in the back, which is the gray, you make the pink, which is the front, you make your circles, everything else. And it's the same thing down here. Okay, so this one you could use the pen tool to create this if you wanted to, and then round off the corners. All right, so I could take the pen tool, click here, I'm gonna hold shift so I get a nice straight line. Right, come down this way, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for where it actually ends. All right, I'm staying on the outside of the drawing. Click here, shift tool again, right to about the end. This one won't be as perfect at times. I want to try to match it up as best you can. All right, here to here. All right, so that one, that's how you can shape that. Or if you wanted to, you could create a triangle. All right, using the polygon tool, just a 3-sided triangle here. Right, we take the triangle, we start down here. You can manipulate the triangle, right, all the way here, all the way here, pull it all the way up. Okay, you can even pull it all the way up like this if you wanted to, but really just here. So you can kind of get a feel for what you're going to do. You notice my shape's a little off, so I can pull it up till my lines align and my points go to, you're thinking about, because this is a rounded end, you want to kind of have it like this, right? And then I can take this and sort of center it out wherever I want, keyboard here. Now I can take this, if I wanted to, swap it to a shape. I can grab my knife, if I want it. Again, you hold the shift key and just slice across. So it really depends. There is no right or wrong way to do this. all right? You can sit there and you can attach lines, but pen tool might be the quickest, all right? This is obviously a box, okay? So that's your first drawing setup, which is with these. Get into the next one in another video.